Hi everybody, this is a GRIXIS Arcane Bombardment list. Looks to take advantage of Arcane Bombardment to keep copying things like Invoke Despair and Burn Down the House. Since Standard, as of late, is pretty powerful in the first few turns, making mid-range strategies much more popular, you'll notice I've kind of been seeding our Arcane Bombardment decks with a few more permanents and planeswalkers and things to kind of bridge the early and mid-game. So in here in particular, we've got 3 Sheoldred the Apocalypse, kind of a nice brick wall for an aggro strategy and helps bring us back into the game by giving us some life when we draw cards. And then Kaito Shizuki, just another good draw engine and kind of a slight distraction for the opponent. If they can spend a few turns paying attention to Kaito and trying to get rid of it, well then that's a few turns they're not trying to kill us, giving us a bit more time to get up to our unwieldy 6-mana enchantment. Running through some of the card choices real quick. In addition to Kaito, you'll notice I've got 3 counterspells in here. We've got 2 Dissipate, which the exile effect is very useful at the moment, plus 1 Negate. This is just enough. I wouldn't want to go any higher than probably 3, maybe 4 counterspells at most. I'm really missing that modal counterspell from the previous standard where you could counter a spell or draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. That card fits perfectly under Bombardment, but we don't have anything like that for the moment. At any rate, Dissipate being able to exile things came in pretty useful, and just having a straight-up Negate is not bad to keep in your back pocket when everybody seems to be trying to Invoke Despair or otherwise remove my Arcane Bombardment. We've got a couple of Rona's Vortex on the low end. It's great just as an unsummon or to basically exile a creature or planeswalker. A couple of Flame Blessed Bolt, more exiling and more cheap ways to activate a bombardment. We've got a couple of Lightning Strike in here, great for activating bombardment, but a couple of our opponents start getting a little too comfortable at a low life total, and so just having this around to come out of nowhere with a surprise 3 damage to the face is great. You can tuck it under a bombardment for repeated castings, or this in combination with Burn Down the House is actually a quick way to burn an opponent out in kind of a non-traditional way. You get opponents in situations where we got more devils than they have life, and that becomes really difficult for folks to get out of. One of Maestros Charm, really like this card. We should probably have 1 or 2 more in here, but I really wanted to try Kaito and a couple of counterspells. So your mileage may vary, but this is a great sort of impulse clone. We can look at the top 5 cards of our library, or when tucked under Bombardment, it helps us get back in the game by giving us a little bit of life if we can recast it for free. Also works as removal in a pinch, so not a bad card in here. At any rate, we had some fun games with this one, so I hope you enjoy this GRIXIS take on Arcane Bombardment. I'm going to stick with you for some commentary on some of these games, so I'll talk to you in a second. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. One more game with GRIXIS Arcane Bombardment. Trying out a version with a few counterspells, a few extra permanents in the main. Getting black there for the eventual Invoke Despair. Little speed bump for our opponent while we wait on Burn Down the House. Yeah, let's try sitting on this. We can Tainted Indulgence, try and draw some more cards. They're no doubt digging for a response to this Sheoldred here. we'll give that a try. They'll get some commies back, but can't put the Katilda back on one of them. Hopefully we'll get a chance to Flame Blessed Bolt one of them too. Kami number 1. They should do Kami number 2 and the circle. They do not. Okay. Well, this isn't that threatening either, so this will let us negate Katilda. Which I guess we didn't have to do now that I think about it. Okay. We can wait on that. We're probably gonna Meathook next turn anyway, just to get that on board. Have that start gaining some life for us too. I say we just go for it. Hopefully they don't have any removal for that. Really digging for that borrowed time. Alright, thankfully just a wedding announcement. We're in decent shape here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that Weaver now. Draw a couple with the Tainted Indulgence. That's great. That gives us an extra land. Setting up for Invoke Despair next turn. We'll probably discard Infernal Grasp to this big score that we're going to do here. Alright, attacking with 2 to draw a card. Alright, let's do some math here. 10 mana available. I believe we can do all the things we want to do. And keep up a Vortex for next turn. Make Devils. Shoot the companion so they can't play any games with Invoke Despair. And we'll wipe that board. Having this Meathook online is very nice. Alright, that's enough triggers for now. Double Kami from the opponent. Another wedding announcement. Let's let all this resolve. We can handle this. Just bounce one of the Kamis for an activation. Let's see. We've got a lightning strike. Let's make Invoke Despair go off last. Right before that, we will strike the other Kami. Yep. It's pretty much over. All right, good game. All right, we are back with a GRIXIS Arcane Bombardment game. We're going to mulligan that because it's terrible. This should allow us to dig out of whatever hole we're in here. Let's keep Invoke Despair. I'll put Big Score back, just in case. Shuffler's been really unkind to me lately. Just in case we don't draw any red lands by turn 4. Rafine's Tower. I thought they were mono blue for a second there. Well, let's give him something to do. No negate and no make disappear. That's interesting.
I've got all kinds of connections.
We'll attempt to get in and draw with Kaito here. All kinds of priority being held for the opponent now that we have a creature. Creature gets a Ganjode. Alright, well luckily that still counts as an attack, so we do get to draw for free.
Thanks.
Let's go ahead and get our red online. Leyline Binding. Sure. Let's pretend like we're going to respond to that.
Big deal. I'll try again later.
I think the coast is clear for Invoke Despair. That'll get our Kaito back. We'll make a ninja with it, and we'll start this process all over again.
No secret is safe from me. Our eyes are everywhere.
Opponent very mean, pulling out our Invoke Despairs like that. Terrible. Let's get in for the free draw.
I know something you don't know.
Sheoldred is nice, but we need to get this Katose off the board. I don't want to be hit with my own Invoke Despair. Alright, we have a lot of lands. Let's just try to draw.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
Going to be tough to get rid of this Jin now. We could try to get Arcane Bombardment down and just use our spells that are going to get countered to try and pull in some extra things, basically do multiple things in one turn. Well, we could spend 3 cards to attempt to get rid of Jin. Not sure I want to do that. Draw with Kaito for some free life. The Sheoldred, for now, does kind of prevent our opponent from drawing a bunch of cards and trying to get back into this. So I'm curious to see what they're going to try to do here. All right, Cycle the Lounge, keep drawing towards Bombardment. Yeah, we can play the waiting game here. I think we're in the better position for the moment. This Lightning Strike can also go face. We can use the Flame Blessed Bolt as the sacrificial card, and then Vortex Jin Gitaxias away. And that will still leave up Negate mana as well. Let's see, so they can get Katose back, they can search for a card, they can look at our hand. If they get Katose back, they can pull out not much. I think we go with this. They choose to look at our hand. All right. Well, they can make us discard Sheoldred. That does mean they'll be able to get ours back in a couple of turns. We also have to keep in mind they are taking 3 damage from this tutor next turn, and they'll take 2 on their upkeep from our Sheoldred, meaning we could potentially Lightning Strike them out of this game as well. So let's think this through. We'll need a sacrificial spell to get the Lightning Strike through. And guaranteed next turn upkeep, draw step, they'll take 2. That'll put them to 6. Grim Tutor activation will put them to 3. All right, we may be able to win in response to that Grim Tutor. Well, let's let them search. Let's let him search and resolve it before we shoot him with the Lightning Strike. Okay. Here we go. Resolve that. They know we have a negate. They know we have a Lightning Strike. They don't have to show us the card that they tutor for. Hullbreaker. That means the time is now. Bolt on Jin. Lightning Strike to the face. Whew, okay. Thought they were going to have something there, but good game. All right, we're back here with some GRIXIS Arcane Bombardment. Got a few things to make it through the early game. Let's give it a try. Phoenix Chick, so we're likely looking at mono red or mono green. Did I say mono green? I meant Gruul. Red and green. Opponent taking a moment to peruse the Twitters, the TikToks. Forgot that their Phoenix Chick has haste. Kaito here could potentially help us to draw cards, but might distract our opponent a little bit with some of their burn. Looks like no play with fires or lightning strikes for our opponent right now. We could Meathook here, but this isn't too threatening. I'd rather keep up the lightning strike and or big score for the next turn. One more untapped land. We can also probably Invoke Despair. Chandra, that's okay for now.
I hope you like your hors d'oeuvres extra crispy. Come on, Chandra. Think of something good.
Was this so Kenzan? They're going for Kaito here. Let's big score away a big score. Since we're pretty sure they don't have any more burn in hand, might want to lightning strike one of these chicks and just keep Kaito drawing us cards. Especially since we drew that Haunted Ridge, which will allow us to Invoke Despair this turn. Even more cards. Something holding priority for our opponent there. Could be like a Ancestral Anger or something like that. We're at a high enough life total. I think we're going to try to draw here with this ninja off of Kaito and then Invoke Despair. Ooh, that's a good one. Our draw is Maestros Charm. That's a great thing to have in the graveyard and will help us find Bombardment when we're ready. For now, let's Invoke Despair. And pass it back. They did have a play with fire. That's interesting. Why are they sparing Kaito then? Alright, Devastator. Interesting choice. Now they could have done play with fire on Kaito and then hit us in the face with the Devastator, and we would have been at a much lower life total. Wonder why they did not do that. We'll keep this back just in case they have a Thundering Raiju. On our opponent's turn, we'll probably Maestros Charm this Devastator and Tainted Indulgence. So Kenzan is fine. We have a Meathook still. Ah, but that does activate the chicks. Well, that will be okay. All right. Yeah, no blockers there. Let's charm down the Devastator. Take 4 here. Indulgence. Oh, Sheoldred, also a good draw. I'm going to discard this Burn Down the House, since we're meat hooking anyway. Let's make sure to get in for our 1 first. Meat hook for 2. Yes. Gain some of that life back. An opponent empty-handed, so we're in a good spot, assuming they don't get anything too huge here. Can have that. That is fine. Sheoldred, just extra insurance first before we try for bombardment. Land is a rough draw. Let's hang back for a second. We're in no rush. This game's pretty much locked up. Just trying to avoid stupid mistakes. Not entirely sure what the point of that was, but... Alright. Well, with that grasp in hand and a comfy life total, we'll start getting in. Plenty of stuff to react to our opponent's draws with. Oh, final land. That is rough. Well, good game, opponent. Back again with GRIXIS Arcane Bombardment. We'll grab a blue here so we can Vortex if we have to. Fable from our opponent. Well, we've got kind of a slow start, so we'll keep them running slow as well. Make a ninja and try to fire up our own draw engine. What did we get rid of? Mulch and a Proving Ground from our opponent. Mulch again. Oh, Spirit Sisters. This is that standard challenge deck list from probably a week ago. Around September 18th or so. Yep, that's the one.
Now this is a juicy secret.
Probably big score away. A Tainted Indulgence here. Spirit Sisters Call, good. That'll line up with Invoke Despair nicely. Draw here and see all of our options. Well, they'll obviously sacrifice the Rhino. They'll have to sacrifice the Spirit Sister's Call, and then we're left with a Shielded Titan of Industry. We could poke it with a Bolt and remove that if we draw a Infernal Grasp or something like that. But yeah, I think just to keep things moving, we definitely have to do this. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll keep up the Vortex and save Kaito. Must have another Spirit Sisters to bring that back with. Or not. Get in with the ninja. Free draw from Kaito.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
A little bit of draw from Invoke Despair. We could have traded that Flame Blessed Bolt there for basically another card, but it will also combine with Burn Down the House if they try to bring that Titan back again. We can remove it from their graveyard so they can't do too much with it. All right, Kami War. Probably going to exile Kaito here. Sure thing.
That's some serious counter intelligence.
Draw with Tainted Indulgence. There's Bombardment. If we lay that now, that's just going to get bounced. We could start pressuring a little bit with Burn Down the House, I think. We'll save this Xander's Lounge to draw in the future. And then next turn, start the Bombardment shenanigans. Although these devils just a great threat on their own. If nothing else comes down here, we can potentially hit them for 6. And then leaving 5 devils on the board. It's a precarious spot to be in. Ooh, and it's very tempting, especially with this lightning strike. Yeah, we may have it here if they are tapped out with nothing to do. Let's give it a try. Untap 3 devils. And that will do it. Good game.